I know some of the most famous people on the planet because they work with me. The relationships that I have built as a result of all this stuff is absolutely insane. You get access to cool stuff. Like you get invited to events, and I've spoken at some ridiculous things. To be able to like cook for Zac Efron, real good friends with Screw Turner from Flight Center. When I first met Paris Hilton, that's the first thing I thought. But when she started speaking, you like, this woman's extremely intelligent, like extremely business savvy and intelligent. She's got her own podcast, obviously now, and I've been invited to be a board member for a castle in Ireland. I've got coffee actually. More recently, I've gotten into like filter coffee. Nah, once you go black, apparently. Being in their space allows you to think differently. Your energy changes. They help you explore a side that you probably never had access to. And I think that is probably the biggest advantage of this whole thing. I think it's consistency. I asked the same question you asked me. So how did you grow? What happened? How did you get your listeners? And she said the same thing. She's like, I don't know. I just kept doing it, regularly doing it, and kept doing it for the listener. And then this one day just started to get momentum, and the momentum grew, and the momentum kept growing. The biggest thing for a podcaster to grow their audience, the first thing is for them to take their show seriously. Now, if you commit to the journey, you probably get to the destination, so to speak. No one's going to run a marathon from sitting on the couch. 3 main things you got to focus on if you have a business and you have a podcast. The first thing is you got to focus on growing your listeners, right? The second thing you got to focus on is getting clients. And the third thing you got to focus on is making this podcast, this platform that you've made, a leverageable asset. The key here is to recognize that there are 3 different audiences for those 3 different things. I hear the same people kind of going, hey, Ronsley, I've got this podcast, it's got all these episodes. How do I grow the listeners? I'm like, have you told people? There are 2 types of people, and you can call it however you like. There's the creative type, I suppose, and there's the commercial type. Well, let's call them that. The creative kind of people don't like to sell. They're like, oh, if I sell, I feel like I'm selling my soul and all that kind of stuff. And then the commercial people just want to sell all the time, and they just don't know how to create something that is listener worthy. Like, both of those have to come together. If you do not have a method to sell, people will use their method to buy. And usually their methods to buy are which is the cheapest around. If you will have $100,000 to spend, maybe I'd say spend at least 20% of it on making it a better show. Every conversion in any business always happens in a conversation. So if you're not having those conversations, then you're not having conversions. I can guarantee you that. Those conversations that you have in your business are the ones that matter. And if you can create something around those that people can listen to, even better.